America has just unveiled a next-gen transport system that's not only changing how we move goods, but shaking up global players, especially China. Now the question is, what does this new move mean for the future of global transport? And why is China so taken aback? Let's explore the unexpected twist in this technological race and how it's making waves around the world. Over the last decade, the transportation sector has been at the center of global environmental discussions. The U.S. has taken a bold step to reduce its reliance on fossil fuels by introducing its new National Zero-Emission Freight Corridor strategy. This plan, spearheaded by the Biden administration, aims to create infrastructure that supports electric vehicles, EVs, and hydrogen-powered freight trucks across major highways. The initiative is part of a broader effort to decarbonize transportation. One of the largest sources of pollution in the U.S., the strategy aims to build a network of EV charging stations and hydrogen fueling hubs, particularly for medium and heavy-duty vehicles that dominate freight transport. But what's driving this shift? For decades, the American freight sector relied heavily on diesel-powered trucks, notorious for emitting significant greenhouse gases. However, with growing concerns over climate change and health risks from pollution, the U.S. government has set ambitious targets. By 2040, they want zero-emission freight vehicles to become the norm, transforming how goods are transported across the country. But the game changer here is how fast this infrastructure is being rolled out. The timeline starts in 2024, with the first phase focused on building out key freight corridors that handle the majority of truck traffic. Not only does this aim to cut emissions, but it also sets the U.S. up as a leader in clean energy transport. And that's where the real story begins, because as the U.S. races ahead, the global impact is profound, and no one is feeling it more than China. Let's break down what makes this move so revolutionary. America isn't just tweaking its transport system. It's undergoing a major technological overhaul. At the core of this shift is the development of electric highways routes equipped with fast-charging EV stations. These stations aren't just for passenger cars. They're being designed to cater to heavy-duty freight trucks, which are the backbone of the American logistics industry. But that's not all. Hydrogen fueling infrastructure is another key element in this transformation. Hydrogen-powered trucks are expected to play a major role in long-distance freight transport, as they offer faster refueling times compared to electric batteries. This dual infrastructure, electric and hydrogen, ensures that America stays ahead in both the short-term and long-term transport future. Why is this a big deal? Well, traditionally, freight trucks have been some of the hardest vehicles to convert to clean energy due to their size, weight, and need for long-range capability. With this new infrastructure, not only will the U.S. reduce its carbon footprint, but it will also lead the charge in cutting-edge transport technology. Let's put this into perspective. These highways are designed to be the lifelines of America's trade, stretching from coast to coast, covering major freight corridors. The U.S. government plans to roll out this network in stages, with the first phase, 2024 to 2027, focusing on high-traffic roads, particularly those that connect ports, industrial hubs, and distribution centers. By 2040, the aim is to have a complete network of zero-emission freight corridors, making diesel-powered trucks obsolete. This ambitious strategy is also expected to lower the cost of goods for consumers, thanks to reduced fuel and maintenance costs for transport companies. But here's where things get even more interesting. This transformation isn't happening in isolation. The world is watching, and China, the world leader in electric vehicle, EV production, is keeping a close eye on these developments. So why is China shocked by this move? Let's start with some context. China has long been a global leader in electric vehicle production. Over the past decade, the country has invested billions into its EV sector, producing everything from passenger cars to electric buses and trucks. China's EV market is massive, and their government has been heavily subsidizing EV production to maintain global dominance in the green transport sector. But America's new move has caught them off guard. While China has been leading in EV manufacturing, its focus has primarily been on passenger vehicles. The U.S., on the other hand, is making a massive play in freight transport, an area where China has lagged behind. The U.S. focus on hydrogen-powered trucks, in particular, is an area where China hasn't made as much headway. Moreover, The Biden administration's infrastructure plan is backed by substantial government support. The U.S. is prioritizing clean freight corridors, an area that has often been neglected globally. This makes America's strategy unique and potentially more impactful than China's current approach, which has primarily focused on urban EV adoption. The shock comes from the realization that America could leapfrog China in the race to dominate the future of freight transport. China's EV dominance is being challenged, and this isn't something they anticipated. While China has been focusing on internal growth, America is positioning itself as a leader in global freight logistics powered by clean energy. This move may force China to rethink its strategy, especially when it comes to hydrogen. China's heavy investment in EVs is undeniable, but this recent development in the U.S. could shift the balance of power, particularly in the freight sector, where global trade is most impacted. What does this mean for the world? Well, the implications of America's move extend far beyond its borders. If the U.S. successfully implements this zero-emission freight infrastructure, it will likely change global trade routes, supply chains, and economic power dynamics. For starters, the U.S. is reducing its dependence on foreign oil, which could have significant geopolitical consequences. As the U.S. weans itself off fossil fuels, it could also reduce its involvement in oil-rich regions, shifting its foreign policy focus. Then there's the environmental aspect. With zero-emission trucks on the road, air quality will improve, especially in regions near major highways and industrial centers. This will lead to better public health outcomes, fewer respiratory illnesses, and an overall reduction in the harmful effects of pollution. But what about the rest of the world? America's bold move could inspire other nations to follow suit, particularly in Europe and Asia, where decarbonization efforts are gaining momentum. Countries may begin to adopt similar clean freight strategies, leading to a global transformation in how goods are transported. And let's not forget the economic benefits. Logistics companies stand to save billions on fuel and maintenance costs, which could lower the price of goods for consumers. As the infrastructure for zero-emission freight expands, more companies will be incentivized to switch to electric and hydrogen-powered vehicles, accelerating the clean energy transition. On a global scale, this U.S. initiative challenges China's dominance in the EV sector, particularly in freight transport. If America succeeds in building a zero-emission freight network, it could reshape the global logistics landscape, leaving China and other countries scrambling to keep up. The real question is, will China respond with its own bold initiative, or will it focus on strengthening its EV dominance in other areas? The race is far from over. America's game-changing move in zero-emission freight transport has caught the world by surprise, especially China. As the U.S. builds its clean freight corridors, the global impact is undeniable. This could be the dawn of a new era in logistics and clean energy. But how will the rest of the world respond? Will China bounce back, or has America taken the lead for good? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on the latest developments.